Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Hope you are all well. In this video we are going to be replacing the screen on this Acer Chromebook. So on this Acer Chromebook, this model is actually the R11. What has actually happened is the screen has got some damage. I'll just show that to you now. You can see just down here the Chromebook is actually taking a hit and the screen itself is actually damaged. Just down there. So what we're going to do, we are going to take this screen off and actually replace the screen. Now these are touch screens on this notebook. So it is a touch sensitive screen which isn't actually working either, which is interesting. So let's get it swapped out. And I'll show you what I think is the best way of doing that. So these, as like most Chromebooks, there's not many screws to them really, to be honest with you. They're all kind of pressed closed. So what you actually have to do is kind of find a way in to actually take the plastic housing, the bezel, off of the screen. Now the easiest way I've found to do that is actually start off around the hinge area, which most times seems the easiest and the most flexible area to actually get into a screen on a Chromebook. So let's grab our pry tool and we start off, as I say, by the hinge area. Just find a place where you can see most flex coming from the actual screen, work your way in, and then eventually you'll feel it pop. As soon as it pops the first time, you can see it there, you then pretty much can quite easily just go along and start opening the rest of it. And all I'm doing is literally just put it in the pry tool and then twisting it. So just very gently, using one of the longer edges of the pry tool. You can hear it popping as it goes. Start on the other side of the hinge. Get it in, give it a twist. Get it in, give it a twist. And then once you've started, it does become easier. Then we can start on the sides and just work our way around, just like so. Twist as we go, and then you'll get to a certain point where it does actually just start to come off itself. Around, following it around. There we go. You can see the gap there. It's actually coming away really easily now. So inside there's a number of connectors, and obviously I've still got the battery plugged into this. Now ideally what we do is undo the base and take the battery off. However, for speed, what we're going to do is just close the screen like that so the screen shuts off. And then what you'll see is a number of connectors along the bottom. Let's turn it around that way. Along here. One's the main display for the screen, the others are the backlight and the touch screen. So what we'll do first of all, if we disconnect this side, it will disconnect the power. So there's another ribbon connectors here and then the main connector for the actual screen display, but on this end of the PCB is a little power connector for the board. It's got some tape over it. Let's just zoom in a little bit for you. So there's a little bit of tape over it. Just remove the tape and then just very gently just pop the connector off, and then the power's off to that board then. Now the replacement that we've actually got does actually come with the bezel on the front. Let me show you that. So this is the replacement that we've got here. So it's actually got the bezel and it's already. Here are ribbon cables and there's the connector, so we can see obviously comparing the old to the new. We're going to need this PCB, need this connector, and obviously the cables as well. Now you can just buy the actual LCD parts as well. However, you know, these are glued onto the bezel, so it is possible. You need a heat gun to heat up around the area to take the old one off. That will eventually pop off, and then you obviously need to put some new sealing tape around there to pop the new screen on. Price wise, you know, a actual LCD screen, if you look around on eBay, you probably get them for around £30 or around $32, $35. But the ones with the bezel, they're around £40, £45 or around $50. So the price difference isn't that great, to be honest. So, you know, for me, you might as well just get one with the bezel as well, save you the hassle of then having to try and attempt to, you know, actually unglue this screen. Other thing as well, you'll notice this does come with a camera, so we need to disconnect this camera and put it onto the new bezel as well. So let's continue disconnecting our cables. Now this ribbon cable here, the actual connectors for it, zoom back in again, the actual connectors for it, there's like a black and white part to the connector. The white part pops up either side and that releases the ribbon cable. So I tend to do this with my finger now because they are very delicate. So that just pops up gently, like so. And so you need to be careful because they're very delicate. And this then will just pop off. So we pop that to one side. And so then on the main connector, it's got a label over it. So the easiest thing to do is just lift the label up. And there's this tiny little bar here which holds in the connector. You lift that bar up, just like so. If you didn't see that, that bar goes up and down there. Lift the bar up and over, and then pull the cable that way away from the screen. And that one comes off just like that. So there's a little bit of tape here which goes across the bezel and onto the screen, so we just need to remove that. And then if we spin it around, I'll show you the camera. So there's one screw holding this camera in, and then that should pop off. So let's just undo that screw. Let's see how this pops off. So comes off like so, and then the camera itself, give it a bit of a wiggle, off it will come. Now obviously the cable runs all the way around the screen, so we have to just work that off of the little clips all the way around the screen. So it's completely clear from the screen. Same for this cable down here. Just gently work it back around the bezel of the screen, and then we're free to remove our broken screen. Now obviously installation is the reversal. Take our protective tape off, and there. We'll leave the protective cover on it for now. Place that on there like so. Line it up. Start with this cable, which as we know runs around here. Placing it back on again. Okay. Now let's feed our main connector and camera cable back up again. Now obviously these cables have to feed around by the hinges, so you might have to wiggle them through a little bit. Just like that. Making sure they're not snagging too much. What's good to do actually is just make sure that they don't snag as you lift the screen up. They're all good. We know that the main cable is going to go that way, and then the feed for the camera runs all the way back up here, following exactly the same path as it did when we disconnected it. Keeping it relatively tight. Go all the way around. Camera pops on there. And then we can pop the screw back in. On the sensor. Let's just zoom in a little bit. Now I've got quite a lot of slack on the cable here, so what I'll do, I'll start from this end and just feed it back through. And make sure that the cable is running into all the connectors. I've probably skipped a couple of the actual cable holders, hence why I've got some slack. Feeding it through. all the way down. You can see down here I've pulled the cable quite tight, so it's good that we've got the slack back here. Feeding it round. Perfect. Just like so. Main video cable, pop it round, and then again, let's just zoom into this a little bit so you can see. So making sure the little holding bar is out of the way. Pop over the holding bar so it doesn't come loose. And stick back down our sticker, like so. Then making sure the cable is sitting nicely. So the last thing to do is pop back in that connector. Let me just spin it around so it's a little bit easier for me. Now making sure the white tabs are still open, like so. Line up the ribbon cables. Now you can give them a little bit of a wiggle, that normally takes them in, and just help them with a pair of tweezers, make sure they're firmly in position, and get your white tabs and just click the white tabs back down. That's connected, and what we need to do is push that down and then finally connect up the final cable. Again, it helps out with a pair of tweezers. Making sure the cable sits around the hinge. Get a pair of tweezers, line up the cable, and then just pop it home, like so. Put the tape back over. Sure the cables sit nicely. Like so. And then finally, close up the lid, making sure the screen's aligned, and simply just clip it all back together. And there you have it. One replaced screen on the Acer Chromebook R11. So there you have it. Thanks very much for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Every time you give us a thumbs up, it really does help us out, obviously, and when subscribing helps us out as well. So really appreciate your view. Thanks very much for watching. Hope to see you all again soon. Bye bye for now.